What's up, everybody? My name is RaisorBlade, and I just saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Yeah, so, as some of you know, I am a huge fan of Star Wars. I love Star Wars to death. I have ever since I was a little boy. The first Star Wars movie I ever saw was Revenge of the Sith when I was 10. For some people, that might not be the best movie to start off with, but hey, it's what got me into Star Wars in the first place. So yeah, ever since I was a kid, I always dreamed of the next big Star Wars story to come out, and you know, for it to continue the story and everything like that. And you know, for a while I thought I was never going to get it until Disney bought Star Wars back in like 2012 and announced we're getting a new trilogy. And in 2015 we got The Force Awakens. And I guess before we should talk about The Last Jedi, I should share my thoughts on The Force Awakens. And personally, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't a great movie, I'll be honest, but it was really fun. It was a very fun sci-fi film. Had really good acting, good effects, just a fun story, good action scenes, just really badass moments. Yeah, I guess the biggest problem is the same thing that everybody says about it. It's just A New Hope, copy and paste, which led a lot of people to be afraid of this movie, the fact that it might just be A New Hope, or not A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back copy and paste. And all I can say is that is not the truth here. It is completely different. I'll admit it takes elements from Empire Strikes Back, but it also takes elements from like Return of the Jedi and has its own unique spin on it. So again, like The Force Awakens, if it doesn't feel like it's just A New Hope or anything like that. It's a very unique, fresh take on it. It's really new, it's unique, it's fun. So I'm gonna review the movie, and don't worry, I'm not gonna go into spoiler section yet. I will let you guys know when I'm going into spoilers. I will let you guys know beforehand. But for now, I'm just gonna share what I thought about the movie. So, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Was it good? Was it bad? It was good. Yeah, it actually was really good. I don't think anyone was kind of doubting it wasn't going to be good. I don't think anyone was out there, unless you really hated The Force Awakens, which, I mean, I know there's a lot of people there who really don't like the movie, which is fine if you don't like it. But I really enjoyed it, and I kind of thought, like, yeah, I mean, J.J. Abrams is producing this one. He's also working hard on the Star Wars trilogy. He may not be directing it this time, but he was producing it, and, you know, Rian Johnson, as I remember, he's a good director too. Yeah, so, and along with the fact that this movie also had some issues involving like directors changing. Like, I know one director was working on it, and then he left, and now they had to replace him kind of last minute and stuff like that. So, with that being said, for a movie that had two different directors going back and forth, the movie surprisingly doesn't feel like at all like, oh no, we have a bunch of stories that we have to just mash together. It actually surprisingly flows kind of well, with the exception of some parts that do feel kind of slow. And I will admit, this movie is kind of long, and even though a lot of the times it feels really good, some of the times it feels kind of slow. Like, this movie does have a very slow pace to it that I think, yeah, I think this movie does get kind of sluggish. Not saying it's awful or unbearable, because it's still a lot of fun to watch. It's just that it has those moments where it's kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe now's the time to wrap it up, wrap the scene up, and get to the next part. We want to kind of carry on the story and such. Yeah, it kind of feels like that. And this movie is a very long movie. Like, the movie is about 2.5 hours long. This is a very long movie. And I don't know, I think that might be a little long for a Star Wars movie. I mean, like, yeah, this felt like a very long film. Like, I remember the movie starting around 9 o'clock for me, and yeah, it was about almost 11:30 when I left the theater. It was like, damn, that was 2.5 hours long. Like, I don't think Force Awakens was that long. Maybe 2 hours at the longest. Yeah, I think there was some stuff that maybe they could have cut out, but I won't go into that yet. I will in spoiler section. But everything else that this movie has that's a problem, I'll have to go into spoilers. So yeah, that's one of the problems with this movie, is the sluggish pace. It's not like Rogue One, where it's like half of it's really slow and then everything kind of picks up from that point on after in the second half. No, it's kind of like, okay, the first 20 minutes good, we got a bit of a slow 5 or 10 minute section here, another good 20 minutes, another sluggish 5, and then a good 20 minutes, and so on. It's just kind of like that. But the last half hour is really good. I will admit that much. The last half hour is really, really good. Again, I have to go to spoiler section to reveal what happens there. The set pieces, they really are really well done. Like I said, the island that Luke lives on, we get to see that. We get to see how Luke's been living on this island for years. We get to see his daily life. Like, we get a scene where, and I'm not spoiling anything with this one scene I'm pointing out, we get a scene where he has this gigantic staff, like this giant, like, 100-foot pole. He just fucking, like, pole vaults from one island to another, and at the top of the pole is like a giant spear, and he stabs fish with it. He kills fish with it. It's like, wow, okay, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. So yeah, he kind of just runs around doing that kind of thing. And then meanwhile, while Rey's learning how to be a Jedi, Chewie's in the background mostly. That's another problem I have. Chewie's not in this movie enough. He's barely in this movie at all. He's in it for like maybe 3 minutes. Like, he's barely in this at all. Like, you could cut his scenes out and literally not miss a thing. Like, they're mostly just for comical scenes. Which leads me to my other problem, the humor in this movie. I remember The Force Awakens being really funny. Like that scene where BB-8 does the lighter thing, that killed me. Everybody in my theater lost it at that scene. And now I'm not saying this movie isn't funny. This movie has good jokes in it. But where the Force Awakens had really good jokes that were really funny and didn't really feel forced at all, this movie has good jokes, but there are a couple of jokes that feel kind of forced. Like, there's this one line, and again, not spoiling anything when I say this line, like where Luke meets Rey for the first time. He asks her, like, who are you? Where do you come from? And Rey's like, I come from nowhere. And then Luke's like no one comes from nowhere. And Rey says, I'm from Jakku. And Luke says, oh yeah, you're right, you do come from nowhere. It's like, really, that wasn't a necessary line, really. No, it was like, you feel like that was kind of just meant to be a quip and stuff. And it's like, okay, was Luke ever really one for quips? It's kind of like Vader having the "don't choke on your aspirations, Doctor," or Director Krennic from the Rogue One movie. It's like, yeah, did we really need that? That was kind of forced, not necessary. But this movie does have good jokes in it. Then there are those little what are those things called? Like, I think they're called poggles or proggles. They're the little penguin otter creatures that you saw in the trailer with Chewie and the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, they're just toys. They're meant to be cute, just to sell toys. It's like, yeah, they're supposed to be they're like the Ewoks. But at the same time, they're harmless, I guess. They don't really do anything, really, to the film. It's not like they're overly obnoxious. They're not overstaying their welcome. Again, like Chewbacca, which, that's the insult here. They're in the movie for like 2 or 3 scenes, and that's about it, really. You can tell that's what they're for, but I'm glad at the least they're not like doing Jar Jar Binks where they're in the entire film. They're just there in a scene here and there, kind of in the background, not really harming anybody, so it's no big deal for me. But yeah, you could tell they were just made for toys. Like, the trailer built them up like you think, oh, they're going to be in the movie. You're going to see them everywhere now. No, that's not true whatsoever. Luke Skywalker himself. So yeah, no big surprise, Luke is in the movie. He's definitely changed over the last couple of years. Like, he's definitely changed. He's become more of a pessimist, believing that all hope is lost. Like, there's no hope. There's no reason to go back and fight with the Resistance and everything like that. But he does decide to train Rey to teach her how to become a Jedi. But more importantly, in his own words, why there should be no more Jedi. Why the Jedi should die out and be extinct. So yeah, that's a really interesting mindset. One that Mark Hamill himself admitted he did not like. He said he hated how Luke was being portrayed in this movie. He actually walked up to the director and said, I do not agree with anything that this Luke Skywalker is doing in this movie. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But with that being said, I'm going to work with you completely to make this vision a reality. He literally said that. I thought it was really funny. But okay, then you have the side plot with Finn, who is working with a new character named Rose, who I love her. She's a great character. She's this bubbly little fangirl who's like, oh my god, you're Finn, you're the war hero and stuff. But she's not like that. She's not super giddy or anything like that. She's a very, despite being a fangirl, she's a very dedicated Resistance soldier. She takes her job very seriously. She's a very bubbly character, though. I really like her. She's a nice breath of fresh air. She's not just another Finn or anything like that. She's her own character. You're going to remember her. She's very likable. You get to learn more about her past and everything because we get to go to her home planet where she was raised and everything like that. All in all, it's a pretty cool thing. And this leads to another issue I had with it. We get to see this place where she was born, and you think it's going to be a really cool planet where like a lot of life and stuff like that is. It's a casino, and that's it. Like, it's just an LA casino with some aliens there, and that's it. And I'm like, really? That's it? It's literally that they're literally playing blackjack and stuff like that, and they're on the turntable, and it's like, are you serious? This is Star Wars. Like, don't you think you should have a little bit more imagination than this? Like, it just kind of disappointed me. It's like it's just a casino with a slot machine and everything. Like, that's it. The only cute scene in that whole thing was when a literally little guy thought BB-8 was a slot machine. We kept pointing money into him. So I thought that was funny. But aside from that, it's just a casino. There's no imagination to it. It's like having a diner and start Attack of the Clones. It's like, really? There's no imagination put into it. No unique twist or anything like that. It's literally just an LA casino and nothing else. It's like, really, it kind of bummed me out. And they're even having horse races. I mean, okay, the horses are like alien horses, but again, they're just kind of like giant camels, and really that's about it. Nothing really that stands out about these designs really either. But they have horse races with these alien camel creatures, and that's about it really. Again, nothing really imaginative in this scene. We do get a scene where they all get let out and they destroy the casino. That's fun. Without giving too much away, it's fun. It's a fun scene. It's probably more for laughs, but yeah, it's kind of fun. So yeah, I like Rose. Rose is a great character. I love her. She's fucking adorable. I love her. She's great. Leia's in this movie, of course. Everybody was really worried about what was going to happen to her and her character in because of Carrie Fisher's passing. And yeah, to talk about her, I'd have to go into spoilers, so I'm going to have to hold off on that. Kylo Ren. Man. The shit he does in this movie. Oh man. Gotta go into spoilers for him too. Snoke. Spoilers again. Pretty much, yeah, I gotta go into spoilers for a lot of this movie. But the thing I do like the most about this film is the interesting commentary it puts on the Jedi itself. Because like throughout all these movies, we've been told that the Jedi are the good guys and the Sith are the bad guys. But as we know, it's not that black and white. And the thing I like the most about this movie is that it does kind of go in a different direction, where it does kind of show the Jedi be a bit more complex. Even Luke himself is a bit more complex, as we find out he did something, or at least tried to do something later in the movie that like really says like, really, he did that, or at least tried to do that. That's not like Jedi. That's not what a Jedi would do. Jedi are supposed to be the good guys. They're the peacekeepers of the galaxy and such. And it's like, no, the Jedi can sometimes be dicks. The Jedis can do really terrible things sometimes. Jedis can be confused. They can be morally ambiguous, which I thought was really interesting. Because it's like you think he's doing the right thing, but it's like, oh no, it could be a really bad thing. It's like, yeah, it's genuinely interesting. Luke is three-dimensional in this film, and I really like that about this movie. Mark Hamill himself, I really love. I'm a huge fan of Mark, but there are times when he sounds a little too much like the Joker for my taste. I know that's not his fault. And like, as you know, I mean, yeah, he's gonna sound like the Joker regardless. But there are times when he just throws a little too much Joker into his lines. He's not trying to be the Joker, okay? And obviously, Luke Skywalker and Joker are two completely different characters. But it's that voice, man. That voice, when you picture it, sometimes I just close my eyes and think, wow, the Joker sounds really wise today. It's just really weird. But yeah. Then there's Poe Dameron's subplot about learning what it means to be a leader and about sometimes doing what's right, and he has to learn about accepting orders and knowing whether or not he's wrong. It's a nice subplot, and he does grow as a character. It's really nice. Finn grows as a character because, kind of like in the last movie, he was wanting to just kind of run away from the Resistance. But later, as he goes on, he does learn about his place and everything. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, all around, I thought this was a genuinely good movie. The visuals are really nice. The fights are awesome. There's a awesome lightsaber fight in the middle of the near the end of the movie. That's not giving too much away, but it's fucking awesome. I thought it was fucking cool. There's this one scene right after the lightsaber scene happens. Fucking amazing. Kicked ass. It was just so, oh my god. It's like it was like the T-Rex scene at the end of Jurassic World. It was just so fucking awesome. It's like, I remember everyone in the audience were just like, whoa, it's like, holy shit. It was awesome. It was so cool. So yeah, but it was awesome. I think that scene alone is worth the price of admission. The ending itself is very awesome. The ending shot is so beautifully shot. It's at the end, in the end of the movie, I can't say without spoiling it, but let me just say that it is gorgeously shot. Like, perfect symmetry. I love movies that have perfect symmetry like that. It's so epic. It's like, there's red and white, and it looks so good. It's like the perfect shot looking for that final confrontation. And it looks so fucking awesome. And it is. It's like, oh man, this is awesome. It looks so good. Like, the last third of this movie really sells it, guys. Like, again, like, it's got that sluggish pace, but the last third just fucking does it so good. It sells it. It's so good. It really was. So, that's all I can really say without spoiling the movie. But bottom line, I thought it was really good. I thought it's a really fun film. Good acting, good visuals, really interesting complexity there, good story. It's not just Empire Strikes Back again. It really isn't. Granted, it has elements of it in there. You will see elements of Empire Strikes Back, but you will see elements of Return of the Jedi 2. You'll see its own unique twist on it. It doesn't feel like Empire Strikes Back again. Alright, where Force Awakens, you got that feeling in the back of your head where it's like, yeah, this is just A New Hope again. You don't ever feel like this is just Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi in the back of your mind with this one. You feel like it's very different. It's got its own unique twist on it. It's doing its own thing. Yeah, it feels like that. So yeah, it feels like it's its own unique film, and it's good. Again, not a great movie, as again, I'm going to get into spoilers and kind of explain why it's not great, but it's still good. It's still genuinely really good. Very nice addition to the Star Wars legacy, and I did enjoy this movie a lot. Definitely I would probably go see this movie one more time, because I went and saw Force Awakens at least 3 times in theaters. This one I might see just one more, and that's it. Unlike Rogue One, after Rogue One, I was like, okay, that's enough. I saw it once, I enjoyed it, but that's it. So yeah, I liked it more than Rogue One. Say that for what it's worth. I think it's better than Force Awakens because it has a little bit more originality to it. But yeah, I did enjoy it. So take that for what it's worth. I liked it better than Force Awakens, but kind of just a bit of a margin, like just like a little teeny bit. So yeah, that's my review for not Force Awakens, the Last Jedi. Spoiler free, and now, excuse me, sorry. And now it's time for the spoiler section. 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. Snoke dies. Luke dies. Akbar dies. Leia almost dies. And there's the first thing I'm going to talk about. There's a scene in the movie where Leia is blown out of a ship. She's blown out. The entire cockpit of her starship is blown out. She's floating in space. And through the Force, she pulls herself back into the ship like she's got a fucking rope, pulling herself back onto their ship, and she survives unscathed. I'm like, wait, what? No. No. That was stupid. Not cool stupid, like at the end of like in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Drax is holding onto the chain, slamming into the tree stupid, where that's like, it's stupid but it's super funny and that's just kind of how the world works. That's just kind of how the universe of Guardians of the Galaxy works. No, that was stupid, just stupid. Like, no, Leia is not that powerful with the Force. Okay, she has the Force, yes, but it was more of a mental kind of force, not as in she can survive in space and fucking survive an explosion and being thrown out of a starship after it exploded kind of powerful. That's bullshit. Okay, I don't know who the hell thought that was a good idea. That was just dumb. I'm saying right now, that was dumb. Leia should be dead after that. I mean, I'm happy Leia's not dead, but at the same time, it's like, after that, like, really? That was just so that was so stupid. That was so stupid. It really was a really dumb scene. I was like, oh my god. Everyone was just shaking their head like, what the fuck? That was stupid. That was stupid. I'm saying right now. That was just dumb. So yeah, I kind of pointed out all the problems already. There was the sluggish pace, the fact that Chewie's barely in the movie. And now I pointed out the fact that Leia has probably the stupidest scene in any Star Wars movie. Yeah, even stupider than anything Jar Jar Binks was involved in. There, I said it. I said it right there. That was just dumb. Okay, but let's talk about the cool shit. There's a scene near the end of the movie. This is right as where the third act starts. Basically, Poe and Rose have been captured by the First Order, and they're about to be executed. Meanwhile, the Resistance is being shot down. Throughout the entire film, they've been chased by the Resistance. They've been stuck on their giant crew, on their fleet. Basically, there's barely any Resistance members left, and essentially, the Resistance just has a couple of ships. That's really about it. There's no gigantic rebel fleet or anything like that. There's just a couple of ships, and that's about it, really. And, like, there's barely anybody left. It gets to a point, and they're starting to run out of fuel and everything like that. And the Empire can actually track through light speed, which is which they kind of explain is a little weird, as something that's impossible. And it's like, yeah, and they did it. Like, it's like, okay, they can track through light speed now. So yeah, they can't just go through light speed. And apparently they're flying around because they're running out of fuel. They don't have any fuel left, so they kind of just flying along, just getting shot at by the First Order. The First Order is just kind of following them and stuff. And it gets to a point where the ships start, you know, like running out of fuel. Like by one, the ships start, you know, like start losing fuel and low on power. And eventually the First Order just kind of destroys them. And it gets to a point where the final cruiser, the big one, the final one, it's running out of fuel. And they come across a planet. It's the planet where like the white and the red stuff is. That's where the last battle is. It's pretty much like, it looks like the Battle of Hoth in a way. So yeah, everybody gets off the planet. They evacuate the large ship to go to the planet. But then the First Order starts shooting on the shuttles and everything like that, and starts destroying them one by one. So the large ship, piloted by one person, turns to face this gigantic Star Destroyer. It's like it's fucking huge. Like, it's bigger than the fucking Super Star Destroyer in the Return of the Jedi. It's just like gigantic shit. And she throttles it. She activates hyperspace, and she fucking shoots through the fleet. Yeah, this gigantic fleet of the First Order, she just rips through it in hyperspace. Now, this of course kills her. Like it's like a little thing going on where Poe thinks she's like a First Order traitor and everything like that, but in reality she's not. In fact, she was actually kind of a Jedi herself. We don't get to see anything like that. It's said that like Leia taught her how to use the Force, and it's kind of brief and kind of forced in. Like, you know, like, she didn't need to be a Jedi. She could have just been a leader in the rebellion or whatever. But anyway, fucking awesome scene. It's like she just like punches through. It's like the second she activates it, there's no sound. Like, she just rips through. It glows white, and you can see all of the Star Destroyers just get fucking wrecked. They get fucking wrecked. And the giant Star Destroyer cut in half. Well, not in half. Like a third of it is cut off, like on the side, like the right wing sliced right through. It's like, oh my god! It's like, it was so fucking cool. I mean, it happened so fast, but I mean, just the idea of that. Just the idea of a ship ripping through entire Starfleet like that. Just like, oh my god, it blew me away. It blew everyone in the theater away. It was like, oh my god. Oh, that was so fucking awesome. That was like the best scene in the movie right there. Just the sheer magnitude of that situation. It was like, damn, that was awesome. It kicked fucking ass. Whew, okay. Got a little carried away there. Then there's the scene where, then there's the Rey subplot where we, basically, yeah, she's been training with Luke, and while we figure things out, we find out that the thing that Luke did, or at least tried to do, was try to kill Ben. Luke sensed the darkness in Ben and saw him as hopeless. So instead, Luke decides to just try and kill Ben, like, out of fear. So, which I guess I can understand where Mark Hamill was coming from, because after dealing with everything involving his father, believing that his father could be saved, which he kind of did, it doesn't really make sense why he would just think Ben is hopeless. So it doesn't really make much sense story-wise, does it? That's probably a big hole, but Okay, so, but then we find out Luke was thinking about it. He contemplated it. And he was standing over Ben's bed contemplating the idea of doing it. But at the last second, he decided not to. But Ben woke up and saw him with the lightsaber activated and just assumed the worst and went nuts. Ben went nuts, destroyed his academy, and took a handful of Jedi and slaughtered the rest of them, basically. And just kind of left Luke behind. So yeah, everybody thought Luke tried to kill Ben, but so yeah, Ben thinks that Luke tried to kill him, but that's not the case. So it is a bit of a misunderstanding, and again, does kind of show that Luke is a little more complex than we saw him. So Rey, wanting to try and fix and save Ben, decides to go and surrender herself to the First Order to try and convince Ben to turn to the light side. And that's where we meet Snoke, who basically tortures her to try and find out where Luke is and everything like that. And yeah, it's a pretty fucking cool scene. I love how Snoke is. Like, he's such a badass. He barely walks around. He only uses the Force. He doesn't have a weapon at all. He's kind of like Emperor Palpatine. He's just kind of like flicks his wrist and just sends Rey flying across the room. It's like fucking awesome. And there's a scene where he's talking to Ben, and he stomps, and lightning flares out of the ground and just knocks him back. It's like, whoa, that was awesome. He just fucking kick stomped lightning out of the fucking floor. Like, Snoke is so cool. Like, holy shit. He may look horrible because the CGI is awful, but he's so fucking cool at the same time. Anyway, so then we get to the scene where Ben kills Snoke in probably the most creative way possible. So yeah, Snoke has Luke Skywalker placed on his side right here, like on his throne here, and Ben is able to like rotate it slowly and activates the lightsaber with the Force, like cutting him in the middle right here, cutting him in half. And that's when all the guards who are, I guess, I don't know if they're the Jedi too, or if they're just kind of guys. I don't have no clue. They don't make it clear. They all fight, and it's Rey and Ben working together to fight these guys, and it's a super awesome fight. Like, these guys, they have either lightsabers or like lightsaber-based weaponry. Like, one guy's a fucking like mace lightsaber, like it's a giant fucking chain lightsaber. It's like, whoa, it's so cool. Another guy has this dual-bladed axe that can pull apart. It's like, oh, dude. Like, there's just so much variety in the weaponry and stuff like that in this, and he's just fucking... They're fucking fighting, and it's just so awesome. It's like the fucking red paper that's spread all over the walls and stuff. It gets torn apart in the fire and everything like that. Rey cuts a guy's head off and flings at another guy. Not like in a Deadpool comical kind of way, but when she throws it, the head explodes like a bomb. It's like, oh, that was so fucking badass. It's like, oh man, this whole fucking thing is cool. And we see Ben use his lightsaber. He fucking kills two guys at once. And it's just so fucking cool. Like, you'd have to see it to understand how awesome it was. It's just a fucking amazing fight. Rey and Ben together kill like 10 super trained Jedi-like guardians or knights or whatever by themselves. And it's just a fucking awesome scene. And then we eventually get to the planet where the final fight is. It's basically like a Battle of Hoth sort of situation where it's basically the big AT-AT walkers, or what they're called. They're called guerrilla walkers in this one. And yeah, it's leading up to the Resistance getting their asses kicked. Finn crashes and Rose Finn is about to die and Rose saves her, and it leads to a really nice scene. I won't give that part away, even though this is spoiler section. I could if I wanted to. But no, I won't do that. It's a nice scene though, I'll give it that much. Eventually Luke has a change of mind. He comes in and he and Leia share a really nice scene together. It's like, it's good to... Leia's like, I'm just glad you're here at the end, and it's like, and Luke's like, no one's really gone. I thought that was a really nice nod to Carrie Fisher. Like, the lines you could tell were clearly written for Carrie there. At least I think. No, they weren't. Never mind. Then there's a scene where, and then just as all hope is lost, Luke comes back. Luke comes to the planet where they are. He found them, I guess, using the Force, and he and Leia share a nice moment together, and it's a very nice moment. It felt very nice because of Carrie Fisher's passing. Like, it's almost like that line was written, like, yeah, in honor of Carrie and stuff like that. Even though she finished the filming, like, so yeah, that clearly wasn't the case here, but yeah, it was pretty good, in my opinion. It was a really nice scene. So, the First Order, this is the scene I was talking about with the perfect symmetry in the end and like the final confrontation. The First Order uses this giant cannon to blow apart a door. Like, they destroy this door and everything like that. And there's a big gaping hole. It's burning. There's smoke and embers and fire. And Luke comes walking through the door. And it's like, it's so fucking epic. It's like, oh my god. It looks like, oh, you can tell it's going to be awesome. And then Kylo's in one of the guerrilla walkers. He's like, fire everything! And then Luke stands there and they rain fire on him. And he's still standing. There's even, he even brushes off his shoulder like that. I'm like, what? I didn't understand it at first. Like, what the fuck happened? And then Kylo goes down there to face him himself, and again, the perfect cinematography and shot. It's perfectly symmetrical. Like, it looks awesome. They have their fight, and then Luke talks about how Rey is the last Jedi, and then we find out how Luke did it, because he was able to project himself using the Force. Now that, again, sounds a little stupid, but then again, Jedi can survive via ghosts and stuff like that. So it's like, okay. It's like you think maybe Luke is dead and he's a Force ghost now. And yeah, I said Luke does die in this movie, but he's not dead at that point. He does die afterwards. He fades away like Ben Kenobi did and Yoda did. So yeah, he fades away. So it's likely, I guess somehow he pre-died? I guess that's the best way I can describe it. So yeah, when Kylo tries to kill him, it just goes right through him. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, you're not killing me. Like, sorry. Meanwhile, Rey's able to save everybody, and she and Finn reunite, and she finally meets Poe, and fucking Leia finally gets that hug from Chewbacca that everyone was bitching about. Yeah, she and Chewbacca finally get that hug and stuff like that. I thought that was nice. Bottom line, yeah, it was a fucking cool ass scene. Really was awesome. But yeah, Luke dies in this movie. Snoke is killed, which I know is going to disappoint a lot of people because there was a big mystery around who Snoke was. Like, everybody was wondering, like, who is Snoke? Like, is he like Rey's father? Is he fucking, I don't know, Mace Windu's father or something like that? Or there was a lot of mystery and talk about him, and he's dead, and we're probably never going to find out who Snoke was. He was probably just some guy. I mean, we might learn more about him later in the next movie, maybe. I have no fucking clue. And Rey's parents, kind of a disappointing answer. We kind of just, it might be wrong. We might learn more about it later, but from what we know now, they were just junkers. They were just two random ass junkers who sold her off for fucking milk money, I guess. I don't fucking know. It was like nothing really. It means, it's like, really? Like, you figured that'd be like a big answer or something like that, but no, it's just no, they were just junkers. I mean, like I said, it might be more, we might learn more about it later in the next movie, but at this point, they're just two random people we're never gonna meet. Ever. So it's like, okay, thanks for hyping up the internet and all that good stuff, because we really wanted an answer on who these people are, and now we're probably never gonna get those answers. Or at the very least, we got answers that are very, very disappointing. But, okay. Bottom line, yeah, anything else I should probably talk about? I'm trying to think. I should talk more about Rose. Like I said, I really like Rose. She's really sweet. And, it's really sad what happens in the beginning of the movie. Like, there's a character that we don't really get to meet that well. We just kind of meet her, and that's it. We don't really meet her necessarily, actually. We just kind of see her. She's like flying a bomber, and you know, and basically it's like a suicide mission. All the bombers are going towards this one ship called the Dreadnought, and they're supposed to bomb the ship, but the bombers keep getting destroyed and everything like that. Like, it's a very crude bomb system too. Like, if anything goes wrong, the bombs will explode and kill everyone on board and stuff like that. And yeah, that's kind of what happens to all but one ship. And Rose's sister she's able to actually successfully get the bombs to blow up the dreadnought and destroy it. So because of Rose's sister, that was able to happen. The Resistance was able to escape. And that's why Rose takes the situation very seriously. And why she kind of gets mad at Finn for trying to run away. Because again, I was saying before at the beginning of the movie, Finn's just kind of wanting to be with Rey and nothing else, and he's just kind of wanting to get away from everything. Yeah, that's kind of just what happens. So yeah, she takes it seriously, and as she and Finn spend time together on their mission throughout this film, trying to find a way to help the Resistance. Yeah, they connect, and again, because of this connection, Finn grows and becomes to see more of himself as a soldier and why he does need to stick through with it and kind of be there with the Resistance at the end and everything. And yeah, it is genuinely nice bond and friendship the two have. And again, I really like Rose's character. She's genuinely complex, interesting, relatable, likable, very bubbly. I like her. She's a very likable character. I really do like her, and I think she's a nice addition to the cast. I'm really thinking of what else I should talk about. Nothing that really stands out. The training itself is really nice. One more thing I gotta talk about: the training. Basically, nothing stands out about the training itself, but it's what it leads up to. Eventually, again, Rey, when she finds out about what Luke tried to do to Ben, they have a bit of a fight. It's kind of brief, not too big or anything like that. And after Rey leaves, Luke goes to this tree. It's supposed to be kind of like that bog that Luke went into in Empire Strikes Back, where he fought Vader in a sense, and eventually found it to be himself in a way. Like, it's supposed to be one of those kind of things. Like, it's a very dark place, powerful with the dark side of the Force and everything like that. You know what I'm talking about? Well, Luke goes to destroy it, and a old friend comes and sees him. A little green friend comes and sees him again. Yoda. We get Yoda in this movie. Out of all the things I did not expect to see, we get to see Yoda again. Voiced by Frank Oz. And it's a puppet! It's not CGI, it's a puppet! It looks just like in Return of the Jedi. It's like, oh yeah! I was like, oh my god, it's such a nice scene. It really was a really cute, really nice scene. It was really sweet. It's a really kind of short scene, only like 2 minutes long, but it really does work. It's super awesome. And fucking Yoda summons a bolt of lightning to burn the tree. I thought that was awesome. He's dead and he can fucking control the weather. Yoda is a boss. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was fucking amazing. I thought it was great. But yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Yoda's in the movie. It's fucking awesome. It's only 2 minutes, but it's 2 minutes of awesomeness. But yeah, bottom line, I thought this was a good movie. Okay, I thought it was really good. The problems with this movie are what I said. It kind of suffers from a sluggish pace. I think it's a little too long for a Star Wars movie. Some of the humor feels forced, but other jokes do work. They really do work. There's that Leia scene, which I thought was just really fucking stupid. And there is, of course, the kind of contradiction of Luke's character, which I kind of pointed out, like saying, doesn't really work with Luke's character, as he's kind of gone through this arc already and shouldn't be making these judgment calls. But it does work in the context of the film. Like, he does admit, even he admits, like, it's like, I should know. Because even Luke himself admits, like, I should have known better. Like, I've been through this before. So it kind of works. But everything else about this movie is awesome. Like, you got, especially in the third act, with that scene with the fucking ship going fucking light speed, fucking through a ship. I've been calling it hyperspeed this whole time, haven't I? Yeah, I've been calling it hyperspeed for some reason. It's light speed. I'm fucking dumb. Yeah, go ahead and shell me in the comments. But yeah, rips through a fucking fleet. That was awesome. The final battle on the planet is cool. Rose, I like as a new character. I really like her. Rey's more interesting. Ben's more interesting. Yeah, Luke gets some kick-ass moments too. All in all, it's a genuinely good movie. I genuinely really enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it for any fan of Star Wars. I really do. It was a fun movie. I'd give it about a 7 out of 10. I think that's the best way to put it. It's got some kick-ass scenes, some good stuff. A couple of stupid shit too, though. So yeah, there's that. But it's worth it in the end. I still thought it was good. I still liked it. So that's my thoughts on The Last Jedi, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. And Land for Time 11 will be out very soon. Hopefully I'll have it up by probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Hopefully around then. Alright? Stay awesome, guys. Rock on.